Welcome everybody to the Bobbo's YouTube channel. This is another episode of Bobbo's Wrestling. Last episode I previewed AEW Revolution 2024, Sting's last match, and this episode I'll review it. I watched it last night. I watched the rest of it today because I fell asleep. Not because of the pay-per-view, but because I had to go to sleep because I have work in the morning. The pay-per-view was unreal. I'm going to go match by match and then give my overall thoughts. And if you like these videos, keep like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. So the first, first it was what do they call it now? The 0 hour. They stole that from Ring of Honor because Tony owns Ring of Honor. But the 0 hour, originally they said only Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. But they added a match to it, and it was the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which is, and then versus Satnam Singh, Jeff Jarrett, Private Party, Willie Mack, and Jay Lethal. Satnam Singh is still really green and doesn't really know what he's doing. So he did like 2 spots. I mean, he's huge and can move a bit, but I don't know if he's going to be anything like a Big Show or Kane or Undertaker. There was an awful crossbody that I think Willie Mack did. They all did their finishers and spots at the end. Willie Mack again horribly missed the super kick, and it was shown. Like normally a super kick, they'll show it like hit here or like barely there, but this was like way over here. The guy kind of went, it was really bad. Jay White won it with the switchblade, and after the match he got the crowd going and he called out, he went and mentioned Big Business, which is March 13th in Boston, and I'm going to it. I can't wait. He's gonna, at this moment, he just called out anybody, but then later on in the press conference afterwards, they revealed that he's gonna face Darby Allin, potentially. We'll get more of that in a minute, but he might not be able to face him after the crazy stuff Darby Allin did. But this match was, I gave it a like okay. It was, if I'm doing it out of 5, I would say like a 2.5 out of 5. And then they showed Orange Cassidy in the back with his injuries and stuff, and Doc Samson told him that he needs to tape him up, and Orange Cassidy told all of Best Friends and everybody to stay in the back. He doesn't need them. And then there was an amazing video package from Pac saying that he's going to return, which there was reports that we thought he would never return. So it's really cool that he's coming back. The next match was that original match that was, and I did my predictions, but I didn't predict the Bang Bang Scissor Gang because that match wasn't announced yet. But my predictions, I did the Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I'm looking over here because my predictions are over here. It was Julia Hart and Sky Blue versus Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. And some notes that I wrote down, Statlander is crazy athletic and really strong, so they should push her more, I think. And Willow Nightingale is really charismatic and reminds me, I think I said this in the preview video, she reminds me of a Bailey character when she was in NXT, when she was like hugging everybody and stuff. I think that could be a Willow Nightingale. And if she has a career of Bailey, that'd be awesome. There was a lot of ugly moves by Willow, so she needs to clean up her wrestling a little bit. But I'm not like those. I don't know if you guys saw the fans booing Maxine Dupree of the WWE. She's just starting out, and they're booing her because she's not that great. Give her a chance. So yeah, I had Julia Hart and Sky Blue winning because I thought that's the way it would go, but Stat and Willow won, and it is what it is. It was an okay match. I would give it a 2. It was just kind of placed there, just to get these girls on the card, and yeah, so it wasn't the greatest match. And then the pay-per-view opened up, and the crowd was crazy. It was in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the crowd, I don't know if they had a full sellout, but it was close to a sellout if it wasn't. And the crowd was awesome all night. The first match of the actual main pay-per-view was Christian Cage versus what's his name? Daniel Garcia, sorry. They all came down. Daniel Garcia came down by himself and didn't have Matt Menard because he got taken out the previous night. And then Christian came down with a patriarchy, which, I mean, I wrote in my notes, the father gimmick is getting old to me. I think Christian is having a really good run, but it's kind of getting stale. During the match, Cage played possum and faked an injury and hit Daniel Garcia in the eye. Then he took advantage. The stupid thing that I thought of during this match was there was a part of the match where Daniel Garcia kept getting thrown out of the ring, and he would come up, if you know wrestling, so he would come up on the apron, but not in the ring, not in the ropes and into the ring. He would come up on the apron, and for some reason that would stop the count out. You're supposed to get in the ring to stop the count. But yeah, he was just up on the apron, and then Christian Cage would kick him off. So technically Christian Cage should have won by count out multiple times during this match, but it is what it is, I guess. The final sequence was, so Danny Garcia took out Nick Wayne, and then Killswitch came down, formerly Luchasaurus, and chokeslammed him and all this stuff, and Daddy Magic did make an appearance and came down and took everybody out. And then Nick somehow got involved again, and Cage won with a roll-up. So he retains the title, and I think what's going to happen is he's going to retain the title until Adam Copeland comes back and beats him. At least that's what it looks like. This match was okay. It was a 50-50 match, but that refereeing business really bugged me. So I would give it a 3 out of 5. And I got him right. I picked Christian Cage to win. These are my predictions. So I got that one right. I got the Julia Hart and Sky Blue one wrong. And then the Bang Bang Scissor Gang I didn't have because we didn't know about it. The next match was awesome. So it was Daniel Bryan versus Eddie Kingston, and this story has been going on for a long, long time. And it's Daniel Bryan never showing him respect, spitting in his face, calling him a bum, all this crap, even though Eddie has beaten him. So this match was for the Triple Crown champ. The few notes that I have was the match was awesome. Eddie had a bunch of chops, and Bryan's chest was just like meat, like cut up meat. His chops are crazy, which is funny because Ric Flair was on this show, so it's cool. and unfortunately he went to chop Brian and hit the ring post. So Brian worked on the right hand and arm for like most of the match and couldn't even use it. So Brian got his finisher. He kicked out of the finisher. He got out of the triangle choke, which I said was good booking because last time, what was it, on Wednesday when they had the tag match, Eddie passed out or tapped. I think he passed out in the triangle choke. So this time, having Eddie get out of the triangle choke was pretty good. That was really good booking. And then they just kept going back and forth, kicking out of finishers. And finally, Eddie won with a power bomb. His back fist and then the power bomb. And then at the end of the match, it was like, will he shake his hand? Will he not? And he went to shake his hand and kind of pulled back. And Eddie was kind of like, screw you, and started to walk away. And Brian was like, nope. And he shook his hand, raised his hand up, and then left the ring. And it was awesome. So he showed respect. And there was a clip online when they were in the locker room or the training room, and they were showing respect and all sorts of stuff. So it was really cool. So he got his comeuppance and Eddie got what he wanted, and he retained the Triple Crown. So yeah, so that was really good. I would give that 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, almost perfect. The next match is the All-Star Scramble match. This match really wasn't needed. They apparently were supposed to have a Meat Man match, which was like Wardlow and all those guys, but a couple of them couldn't wrestle. So this was Wardlow. I'm going to miss some people because I didn't write it down. Wardlow, Will Hobbs, Brian Cage, Dante Martin, Chris Jericho, and Magnus. I think he's from CMLL. I don't know who he is. But the Meat Chance and Meat Forever were really funny when the big guys were doing their moves. I wrote in my notes, I had no clue what the rules of this match were until like more than halfway through the match. Commentary finally told the rules, and it was like one pinfall and there's the winner. There was a part in this match where a lot of the wrestlers just kind of like stood there and waited for their spots, which was very awkward. I wrote Lance Archer is another guy that was on there. Lance Archer is so underrated, underutilized. They need to use him. He's so intense, so athletic, so good, and he's huge. So yeah, I predicted Wardlow would win because he's been going after, saying that he's going to go after the world title. So he won, so I was right. And he's going to go after Samoa Joe for the title. Little spoiler from later on. I didn't mean to do that. This match was decent. I would say 2.5 out of 5 because of that awkwardness of the waiting. It was really weird. The next match was Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. Roddy came out with a cape and a mask, which is kind of weird, and he was with the Undisputed Kingdom. He did a really nasty gut wrench powerbomb thing on the turnbuckle to Orange Cassidy, which was crazy. I wrote here, Orange Cassidy is the best seller in the business because he probably is hurting a little bit, but you really think he's actually hurt because he's so good. Orange Cassidy hit a Panama Sunrise, which is Adam Cole's finisher, and Roddy kicked out. Roddy won with the heartache. So it was a decent back and forth match, but you could tell they told that story of Orange Cassidy's really dwindling because of how many matches I mean, he was such a good champion. He put it on the line like every week and multiple days a week and against amazing opponents and stuff. So he was really hurting. So I would give this 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. But the awesome part was at the end, after the match was done, when Roddy won, and I had him win, so I was right about that. When Roddy won, Kyle O'Reilly came out, which is really cool because people thought he would never wrestle again, and they went to give him the undisputed Kingdom shirt. I almost said undisputed era because that's what was in NXT. The undisputed Kingdom shirt, and he refused it, and he gave Roddy a big hug and whispered something in his ear, but you don't know what it was. But the whole point is he's back, so that's awesome. So I'll give that a 5-star. Just that segment. The next match was FTR versus BCC. Sorry about that noise. And they just beat the crap out of each other. Dax was bleeding. It basically was, I mean, it was an awesome match. I would give it a 4 out of 5, but I didn't rate much because it was just, they beat the crap out of each other. That's basically what it was. Chops, punches right in the face, kicks, headbutts to each other, like actual headbutts. So yeah, BCC won at the end, and it was a very good match. So yeah, that was a good. I picked FTR because I thought they would go on to face the Young Bucks, because I thought Young Bucks would win at the end. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so BCC won. The next match was Deonna Purrazzo versus Toni Storm for the women's champ. I picked Toni Storm. So the whole story was their best friend. They were best friends. They had the same tattoo, all this stuff. And Deonna wanted the old Toni Storm to come back, the rocker. So in the beginning of this match, they played her old theme music, and someone came out dressed as the old Toni Storm, and it was Mariah May. So that was really cool to see that, because she actually looked like her. And then Timeless Toni Storm came out, which is the best character in wrestling right now. This match, I said, this is showing Tony and everybody that we need more women's matches. And because this was really, really good match. The hip attack looked brutal. But Storm ultimately won by interference, of course. But with the Storm Driver. And it was a really good match. I would give it a 4 out of 5. And her character is awesome. Maybe they had her retain because a certain someone might come when we go to Boston. So yeah, the next match. Did I not write anything for them? Oh, apparently I didn't write anything for it, but that's weird. Maybe I was so invested in the match I forgot to write something. Yeah. So the next match, anyways, was Will Ospreay versus Takeshita. This match was incredible. They did a New Japan style type match. It was awesome. I would give it 5 stars. Ospreay won. I predicted Ospreay to win, so I was right on that. Yeah, I didn't write anything, so I must have just been so enthralled with the match that I forgot to write stuff. But this match was so good. Takeshita at one point from the top rope did this raindrop suplex thing onto the corner. Oh, that looks so bad. And in the press conference after, Will Ospreay showed his back and it was all bruised up and everything. Yeah, it was bad. And then Ospreay used the Tiger Driver 91, which they might ban that move because it looks disgusting. He basically lands right on his head. Yeah, and then he won with the hidden blade, I think it's called. But it was such a good match. Unreal. So that's probably why I didn't write anything. because I was just so enthralled in the match. The next match, I said I gave it 5 stars, right? Yeah. The next match was Swerve Strickland versus Adam Cole. Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe. The entrances were decent. Hangman and Swerve went at each other, so Joe started beating them up. They did that spot where Swerve went to dive onto Joe from the top rope and he did the walk off. I love that move. It's so funny. But the best was that indie guy who did the dive but went like this. And, it was so funny. He did a muscle buster onto Hangman, and then Swerve did the Swerve stomp, and they both kicked out. They took out Joe but didn't pin him, which was stupid, and Swerve went for Hangman instead. And then Hangman took out the ref, and it cost him the match, which was dumb. And then Swerve refused to cheat, which was really cool. I think they're officially making him a babyface. So Nana gave him the crown like last match where he cheated, and he said no, he gave it back, which is cool. There was another spot where they almost pinned him, and Hangman again beat the crap out of a ref. And then Joe won and tapped out Hangman. But the whole story of this match was Swerve and Hangman went at each other and kind of didn't care about Joe. So Joe just took him out because they weren't worried about taking him out, so it cost them the match. And these ref attacks by Hangman are, I guess, going to be a way to get him off TV for a couple months. They're going to suspend him. But in real life, he needs time off. So, yeah. So this match, I would give it a 3.5, 4. I mean, it was pretty good, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't that Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles 3-way. But it's also because everybody knew the next match was Sting's last match. So you were waiting for that. So it was kind of like, all right, get over kind of thing. And I picked Samoa Joe, so I was right about that. So the next match, which is what this whole pay-per-view was about, it was Sting and Darby versus Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks had a really cool entrance. They used the Cody elevator thing. But the Sting and Darby entrance, well, mostly Sting, Darby came out to his normal stuff, and then Sting, they played this like movie. He was sitting in a movie theater, and they played clips throughout his whole career, and it was really cool. And then out came Surfer Sting, and it actually really looked like him, but it was his son, dressed up as Surfer Sting. And then out came Wolfpack Sting, which was really cool. And then out came Sting, and he said, in the movie theater, he said, "Showtime," and then he said, "For the last time," and then came out, which was really cool. And they got his actual music from before, not the AEW music, so that was cool. This match was insane. So it just went crazy. So they set up tables, they set up panes of glass. Darby went through, I think it was a Michinoku driver, off the stage into a table, through a table, and then Sting went through a table off the stage. But you have to win so it was a tornado tag, which anything goes, but you have to win in the ring. So they brought Sting in the ring. And then he started fighting off people, and then Darby came back, and Darby went to jump on Nick off a ladder through a pane of glass that was set up on chairs. and he missed, and it was the craziest bump I've ever seen in my life. And his whole back was just shredded, like bleeding, cuts, everything. Oh man, it was. So he was out of the match for a while. I think they were like taping him up and stuff to try to get him to do his last spot. But man, that was bad. Sting, they put Sting through another table, but he popped right back up like Sting does. Then he threw him through glass and he popped right up like he did. Steamboat, oh yeah, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair were there. Steamboat got involved to try to take away the belt that Matt was going to use, and they took out Steamboat. Flair came in the ring and like hovered over to try to protect Sting, and the Young Bucks super kicked him. Sting, they did a BTE trigger to Sting, or EVP trigger. They changed the name, and Sting laughed at them. And then Darby finally came back into the ring, and they took them out. He did a coffin drop, which was crazy because his back was all messed up. And then Sting got on the Scorpion Deathlock, and Matt tapped to Sting. So Sting and Darby Allin won. I had Young Bucks winning because it was Sting's last match, so I didn't think they would have him win. I thought, but apparently it was Tony Khan's choice to do this, and they're gonna vacate the titles and have a tournament which coincides with March Madness on TBS. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, this match was awesome. 5 stars because craziness and just the emotion and everything. And Sting thanked the fans afterwards, brought Tony Khan out. Yeah, it was awesome. Perfect send-off to Sting. But yeah, so that was AEW Revolution 2024. Overall, it might be the best pay-per-view of the year, and it's only March. Maybe best pay-per-view in a long time. It was really good. There was only like one dud on it. Yeah, it was awesome. So I gave it 2 thumbs up, 5 stars, everything. Thanks to Sting. Thank you, Sting. I was a little Stinger when I was growing up, so he meant a lot to me. So it was cool to see his last match, and I'll miss him. So if you like this video, go like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. To donate to my nonprofit, go to sweetsadie.org and register for our 5K coming up on April 14th. So hope to see you all there. Thanks for watching. Peace.